Hello, friends. This is another story, and I hope that you are doing very, very well. So this is a story about Tilda, the fairy. She was just minding her own business, tending to her little fairy garden in the forest. And she was digging up some dirt, as you do to plant the flowers. And she had many, many beautiful flowers. Quite a proud garden she had. It was full of dahlia flowers and cosmos, purple cosmos, pink cosmos, white cosmos flowers. They're very flowery flowers that have petals all around their center. Very simple, and some what are those called? The very furry flowers, passion flower. You knows, I should know. And there's some roses too, a very popular flower. And so she has many, many more flowers, and they're all arranged quite tightly with no space to spare. And as she digs the hole, she notices something peculiar. She has dug deep for a big bush that she is planting. Or, well, big for her size. And she dug down to what seemed to be some acorns. And there's a whole lot of them down here. And she was curious why there were so many acorns. And indeed, there was a reason that she did not know. And very, very innocently, she started picking them up out of the hole. And as she was doing this, all of a sudden, there were 2 squirrels towering over her. They were a bit bigger than her size, looking down on her. And they took her away, and they brought her up a tree. She tried to struggle to get away, and she went up to the top of a tree, or not the top, kind of somewhere in the middle, but very high up. And it was a big, wide tree. A big, wide fir tree, very tall and proud. And as she was taken up inside a big entrance, inside the wood was carved with many shapes and art pieces of squirrels walking around, and of nature, and squirrels with spears. And indeed there were also, as she walked down a long corridor, this tree seeming bigger on the inside than it was on the outside, with all this space. And through a corridor and into a great hall, there was a carpet, a very long, narrow carpet with yellow edges and green, covered in green. And alongside this carpet were squirrels with spears, and they were standing in a row, looking inwards. And in the center and back of the room was a great wooden throne. Well, it would be quite cute and tiny for a human, but of course, to Tilda, it was a great wooden carved throne with lots of fancy swirls and details going all along its side. Inside the throne was this there was a squirrel with a crown on top of her head. And Tilda could tell that this squirrel was the queen of its subjects. And it was a little bit hard to communicate, as she was brought up before the queen, because squirrels are not known to talk. However, this fairy, or all fairies mostly, are pretty good at understanding a squirrel or animals of the forest, and understanding their intentions even without them talking. It's like a sixth sense of sorts. But as she gathers from the vibe of the queen, she has done bad to dig up their secret vault of nuts, of acorns. It was belonging to the kingdom of the squirrels. So Tilda said, I'm sorry. I did not know that it was yours, and it was there. I was just making my fair garden. And the queen had none of it. She was not willing to part. She was not willing to let Tilda go very easily. She was gonna let her work for her troubles that she has caused. So she was sent to work for the squirrels, and they took her down into a cave where she was put in a spell. She was put in shackles, trapping her with a spell. And she was giving a pickaxe to mine the nut mines. The squirrels had big mines of nuts where they could mine cashews and pistachios and the shiny crystal nut that was growing in this cave. And there was another being inside of this mine or cave, and it was so happened to be another fairy locked up. And Tilda said, "Oh, hi." This other, she said, "Hi, I'm Tilda." And the fairy gives her a nice smile to see another of her kind. "I'm sorry. I'm so happy to finally see someone other than a squirrel. I've been here for 3 days now, chopping away in this mine. Sorry was a lovely fairy with lovely blue, shimmery hair. And Tilda said, "I like your blue shine in your hair." And Sorry said, "I like your green and almost yellowish tint of your hair. And your wings with a sparkly green yellow shine. And your clothes match very well. I like your earthy brown and green outfit." And as they were talking, a squirrel poked them with a stick to keep going. 1 second, I need to drink some. And as they were talking, a squirrel interrupted them, and the squirrel was very, very agitated with them and wanted them to work, so they poked them with a stick. And as they poked them, they started chomping away with their pickaxes at the nuts to collect them in a little minecart. And so they chopped and chopped and chopped all day. Or it went about, it went into sundown. And Tilda said that I do not want to work another second. And Sori says, tell me about it. Oh my goodness, I am tired. And Tilda says, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't think their punishment is fair. I'm going to escape. But Sori, being skeptical, says, how are you supposed to do such a thing? Tilda says, I think that I will... I've got nothing really. But just at that moment, they overheard or sensed a sort of exchange between two of the squirrel guards. They were worried about the golden acorn that has been lost to the wolves. And they were talking, or they were worried, and they couldn't get it back because they were just little squirrels and they were too scared of the big wolf that had stolen their acorn. But as they didn't dare to do that, Tilda had a great idea. If you need help with getting that acorn, I can get it for you, but you have to let me and Sori go. We'll do it together. And the squirrels looked at Tilda, looked at each other, and looked back at Tilda. They thought about it for a second and they said no. They crossed their arms in no. But Tilda said, okay, you can keep Sori here, and I'll do it on my own. And if I don't come back with it, you get to punish Sori. And Sori looks at Tilda. What now? She says. What now? I didn't agree to this. But the squirrels look at each other and think it's a great idea. So they nod and they let Tilda go to find the golden acorn. And Sori has a bit of a mean expression. What are you doing? Are you just gonna leave me here? Tilda says, oh, don't you worry. I'll be back. If I somehow don't manage to get it, I will still come back and they won't punish you. But, Sori says, but if you do not come back because you're going against big, bad, scary wolves that could chomp a little fairy like you up in one bite, then maybe I'll have a bad time, worse than I have now. And Tilda says, but don't you want to get out of here too, though? And Sori says, yeah, okay, I don't know how long they're planning to keep me here. I would love to go back to my business. And so, Tilda goes away, flies away towards where the squirrels pointed at where the wolves are. And she comes to a big pond with the wolves at the other side having a little bit of a drink. She stalks the wolf as it goes in the rising moonlight. The sun has set, and the wolf goes all over around the forest, but finally it goes back to its home. And there in its little hut that it's made for itself, there's an acorn shining golden, and she plans out how to get in there without being noticed. She could wait for the wolf to leave, but she kind of made an agreement with the squirrels to be back by sunrise. Or it wasn't an agreement, more so as a rule. But she flapped around. The wolf was falling asleep inside its little home, so she thought she could sneak up and just snatch the acorn. And she got to the acorn easily without disturbing the wolf's sleep. But as she grabbed the acorn, a magical little spark of ruby red glowed. It was a magical sort of alarm that woke up the wolf, and the wolf looked at Tilda, giving an angry look. And Tilda says, "I'm sorry, please don't eat me. I'll give it back." And And the wolf just stared and conveyed to Tilda that he does not like the taste of fairies. And he's not really intending to hurt Tilda. He just sighs and says or conveys, "The squirrels put you up to this, didn't they? They annoy me so. They keep throwing sticks at me, and they keep throwing their little spears from up in their trees where I can't get them. I haven't even eaten a single squirrel in my whole life. But still they harass me because they're very scared. I mean, to be fair, rightfully so. I have my powerful sheen to me, but they annoyed me so that I took their most prized possession. It was quite easy. During a storm, the tree that was housing it fell down. I saw my opportunity and snatched the precious little thing, so that hopefully they would learn a lesson." And Tilda says, "Oh, okay, maybe I can make a deal with the squirrels to leave you alone. If I give this acorn to them back, and a Frankster, which is the name of the wolf, Frankster thinks about it a bit. You know what, that seems like a lovely idea if they will actually leave me alone. I'm willing to trust you. Little fairies have never betrayed me before, but you have to promise that if they do not hold their part of the bargain, that you will steal their precious acorn back." And so they agreed that Tilda would take it back to the squirrels. She took it back and presented it to the queen with Sorry in shackles behind her. And Tilda agreed to expand her garden in a different direction, even though that was not necessary. The squirrels have already had their hiding spot compromised, so they moved the nuts. And the squirrels agreed, somewhat reluctantly, to follow the agreement with the Frankster. And so the queen, with her crown and red ruby upon it, high up on the head, with her head held high, she freed Sori and Tilda, and they went on their little way. Sori came with Tilda to her fairy garden, and Tilda showed all the flowers she has planted, and Sori was very impressed. And they became great friends after that. And Tilda let Sori stay in their little house. And so they slept a very, very nice and exhausted sleep after all the hard work they've been through. A well deserved nice rest. And so that's the end of the story, and good night. Good night. Good night.